Hello from the High Line. Excuse me. Boy, you just hate it when your boogers get in your throat. Hello from the High Line. This is Shari with another live video of my video cast and opinion slash blog slash me just shooting off at the mouth of just my opinion. If you haven't already subscribed to my channel, hit subscribe, like, and share. That way we can get past the algorithms. No, that is not a conspiracy. That is an actual proven fact based on data that sharing a video with your friends, liking a video, boosts its reach and availability to people who haven't seen me yet. And subscribing, well, I still lack the number of subscribers to go live from my phone. So that is also a proven fact based on the rules of this platform. So, conspiracy theories versus just simple opinions versus suppositions, as it were. Oh, jeez. He is not, Prince does not like living in our situation right now. That also is not a conspiracy theory. It's a proven fact that he is miserable. And pretty much so am I. And I will update on my situation once it is resolved because I really don't like to talk about things while the goalposts are moving. So, conspiracy theories. If you haven't already, hit that, smash that like button. Smash like button. No kidding, you can't be in the video. Smash that like button to get past the algorithms. Subscribe to this video cast and share with your friends about conspiracies and what I think, in my opinion, are the differences in a conspiracy theory and just a supposition or someone just stating their opinion. And, and I statement about something that I've seen on the vomitorium, and he'll say, well, that's just a conspiracy theory, or you shouldn't be saying conspiratorial things. And I will rebut with, no, that's just my opinion, or that's just what I see happening based on the pattern of human behavior. And he likes to say, no, that's a conspiracy theory, and you shouldn't be putting those things out on social media. I go, number one, the Social Vomitorium is not media. There is no media. There is no journalism. It's just people squatting in the street, leaving it on the ground, and other people walking up to scoop up a bit of it with their fingernail to shove it up their nose. It's no media. It's no media platforms. It's just accessibility platforms of, again, people just sharing their opinion. Now, when we get into conspiracy theories, is basically someone saying this is a matter of fact, or this is what this means. So you want an example, and I'll give you an example. I'm still waking up. The coffee's still working. A conspiracy theory would be to say, and of course, a conspiracy theory is a statement of assertion without proof or facts to back it up. Now, if you're talking to somebody who is widely to one end of the political spectrum versus the other, one side will go off facts or look to facts, hold tightly to facts and numbers and, math, versus the other another side that says, well, these are my feelings, so those must also be a fact. And that's two other conspiracy theories that I'd like to not get into today. But for an example, word around the campfire, as it were, is that in order to combat climate, in order to combat the living circumstances of our global habitat, you got to self-edit on a lot of these platforms where people are being told that they're spouting conspiracy theories. So the situation in the public vomitorium where people are debating what is and what isn't causing, I guess, changes to our global habitat. And one of the things is, and has always been, is this is not a new topic for the world, has been methane emissions from a cow's butt, from agriculture, from livestock, the of waste product of animals, and don't let them stop at cows and pigs. Wait until they start attacking cats and dogs. Now, that little statement right there about the cows, pigs, cats, and dogs is not a conspiracy theory based on my opinion of what a conspiracy theory is. I am saying, in my opinion, that if they are going after cats and dogs and saying that they're pooping, peeing, and farting is causing harm to our global habitat, once that situation is resolved, what is to stop any policy change or policymaker from saying, well, we've got rid of these two problems. Let's take a look at it because we still don't have zero harm against our habitat. So that is a supposition. It's like, what if when we get rid of the cow situation, when we deal with the the piggy situation, that it turns out that that's not enough. That is, in my opinion, a supposition. But to reframe that into a conspiracy theory would be along the lines of saying, okay, once they get rid of the cows, like an assertion, like I'm absolutely sure of what I'm saying. An assertion of what I just said would be once cows and pigs are out of the picture, they are going to come after your dogs and cats and make you give them up so they aren't pooping and peeing in the street. That would be kind of a conspiracy theory, even along my moderate definition of theory. That's that kind of reminds me of the series of movies with Malcolm McDowell, um, Charlton Heston from the '60s. That would be right up there. But again, I try to avoid copyrighted material or mention of copyrighted material unless the entire episode is on that copyrighted material. You stop it. You are distracting my audience. You are distracting my people, the people who need to subscribe. Now, let's take this a little bit further. So, let's say we do manage to murder off all the cows or let them wander the street as they do in other countries, and all of the other livestock, let them wander the street as they do in other countries, and get rid of the agricultural byproducts of farming. Where does that leave us, really? So we have no food, or let's say on a whim that we get rid of all meat products and meat. I know a lot of people are like, well, I eat fish, but I don't eat meat. It's flesh. It is flesh. So if you're going to eat flesh, you are not a vegetarian. That is my assertion of a value. So whether or not that's a conspiracy theory or not, that's just my belief. Let's just say we make everyone a vegetarian. We all eat non-flesh products in our diet. Wouldn't that, based on actual science, expelling creatures that would harm the global habitat? Not a conspiracy theory. That statement is not a conspiracy theory. It is, let's ask this question. Let's propose a hypothesis Proposing a hypothesis is not a conspiracy theory. I mean, it's not even at the point of a thesis yet, because the scientific method, the one that, ooh, math is racist, science is racist, anything that happened out of the somebody else's culture is racist. So a big double barrel to you. This on my nose. I don't want to scratch it, but I'm going to. So the scientific method proposes a hypothesis. It asks a question. Thesis hypothesis is so it's asking a larger hypo is like asking a larger question about things, in the grand scheme of things, as it were. If this was the situation, wouldn't it produce this result? Not a conspiracy theory. To ask a what if question. Now, if I were to come out and say, by making all humans vegetarians and putting them on a vegetarian diet and a plant-based diet, but making them think they were eating meat, kind of like that one movie where people were unplugged and they were eating the mush and they're sitting around the table asking, well, how did the machines get the taste of a steak correct? How do they know what steak tastes? Maybe what they think steak tastes like is actually jello. But a conspiracy theory, an assertion without proof, would be to say, when when people completely live off a plant-based diet, then we will then become the methane expelling creatures, going back to weakening the global habitat. That would be conspiracy theory, because that would be saying, get out of my face, that would be saying this is an absolute versus a supposition versus, well, if we look along these patterns, if we look along the previously known patterns of human behavior or science, then this is what the outcome was before. And given this widget A and putting widget A.1 into the calculation and the formula, we should still get the same outcome or an outcome that is similar. So we there is some wiggle room with the suppositions on that, but to make an absolute assertion of this is what's going to happen, that might be close to a conspiracy theory if you were only willing to make those statements without going through the scientific process, gathering data and gathering enough data. I mean, if you want to talk about conspiracy theories, if you want, and which is what I'm doing, polling numbers. Well, we polled Americans, blah, blah, blah. And out of, you know, 20% of those polled are in favor of widget A versus cog B. I consider, in my opinion, polling numbers to be very lacking in the scientific method, because it is not a deliberate representation of the population. Let's say you polled 10,000 people in the state of California. Well, California can, anyway, you told 10,000 people in California, and you contacted people quite by random. And out of, let's say, 10,000 people that you called, only 700 responded. And still 20% of those responding preferred widget A over cog B. That's still not originally your original 10,000, for one, is not an accurate representation of the population's beliefs or opinion, because you don't know what other reasons the people have for liking widget A over B. So I consider those polling numbers to be lacking in a large enough sample to be representative. And in my opinion only, I consider those results to be more of a conspiratorial versus a representation. So when people say, yes, absolutely, and of course you're going to have people who are like, well, you just don't believe in science. You don't believe in the scientific method. Good journalism class. In fact, my degree is in journalism, I'm embarrassed to say. And poll numbers were absolute and accurate, then it seems to me that Truman would never have become president. So take it as you will. What, conspiracy theories versus suppositions versus opinions. People can have an opinion, which doesn't seem to be the case on most media platforms, because even when you post a little screenshot with words, and they call them memes, on your social media forum, you can still have it removed, you can still have it blocked, you can still have it fact checked, as it were, or as I used to call it, the thought police comes after you and issues you a citation. So it's just really strange how people will immediately, or the knee jerk reaction to an opinion, just an opinion. No, this channel is just my opinion. It's amazing how people will knee jerk reaction most of the time to things that they don't agree with, an opinion that they don't agree with, and they will immediately say, well, you're just spouting conspiracy theories. You need to stop spouting conspiracy theories. And my reaction is, this is not a conspiracy theory. I am asking a question. If we took widget A out and put in a different widget, what kind of outcome would that bring? I mean, it's very similar to those choose your own adventure books. When you get to 4 pages into the book, and then you get your first chance to turn to page 17 or page 325, because you can choose the path of the story. In most cases, they all come to an end, but in most cases, you can, I guess, write a pre-written version of a story that you choose. So when I myself propose something or give a supposition of something, it's not to say this is an absolute, because saying something that it is absolute without going through the scientific method is a conspiracy. Saying that, well, this is my feelings, so it must be true, that is also a conspiracy. And saying, well, we're going to rewrite the scientific method so we can get the win that we want. We can get the W in an R column. That is conspiratorial thinking, and it's happening more and more, and it's been given a pass more and more, not only in the news. Not only am I going to say journalism, because journalism died. That is my opinion. In my opinion, there is no more journalism, because the pundits that you see, the talking heads that you see now, they are being paid to have a video blog. No worse, no better, no more credible than what I'm doing here. There's no more journalism, there's no more facts. And people only want to talk about their feelings and how they need a safe space. In my opinion, when I hear that, when people say, I need a safe space, in my opinion, what they are really saying is, I need a padded room with a straight jacket, because that's the only way I can function. Fact check that. Again, that's just my opinion, as is the name of this channel. So there is no media. Well, media is the plural word for medium. There are several mediums of contact for people to reach far across the world, and maybe one day into space, into the extraterrestrial depths of the universe. So media, when you're talking about media, you're just talking about a method of communication and nothing, in my opinion, that is important enough to give to. Back to conspiracy theories. Conspiracy theory, again, in my opinion, in my humble opinion, is an assertion without credibility. An opinion is just something of, well, this is what I see from my perspective of the elephant. If you haven't listened to my podcast, which I am horrible right now about continuing the podcast episodes, I don't have a place to set up a studio yet. I'm working on it. And once I do, I'll get back to recording for the audio version of just my opinion. Right now, the video cast here on this medium what is going to have to do. And if you haven't subscribed, please do. An opinion or a supposition of something doesn't require facts. It doesn't even, it wouldn't even give credence to it if it had feelings attached to it. But an opinion is, well, based on my experience, based on point of view. In fact, that one quote is like, most of life's truths are based on a person's point of view, and any geek will know who said that. Quit, 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 quit trying to steal my thunder. Based on a person's point of view. That's all an opinion is. It's based on their own experience, based on their own lens, which is weird. And I'll leave you with this, is how a person's point of view and lens is supposed to be important, but unless it matches the group think, then you're shunned, you're pushed out, you're pushed away. And I've experienced that too in my life, well, you're supposed to think this way, or you're supposed to think that way. Well, I thought, what happened to my individuality? Well, not when it doesn't support the group. Yeah, put that in your pipe and smoke on it a while. That might be another live video content. But for now, be wary of conspiracy theories. Be wary of people's opinions. And hopefully, I've given you a chance, a soft definition of both. So when you come across it, you're able to differentiate between the two. And you'll also recognize them in yourself. Because for now, we're still allowed to have opinions. Oh, here's some homework for you. Look up the short story Harrison Bergeron by Kurt Vonnegut. It's out of the 1960s. I think you'll find it very interesting. And speaking of conspiracy theories, I wouldn't put it past the thought police to call works of fiction conspiratorial, considering that they're not real. But in the author's opinion, there are things that could come to pass if the right widget was put into the equation.